My 6-year-old son went to Disney with my parents and sister. My phone rang. This is Disney staff. Your child is at Lost and Found. Shaking, my son said, Mom. They left me and went home. I called my mother. She laughed. Oh, really? Didn't notice. My sister chuckled. My kids never get lost. They had no idea what was coming. The June morning sun shone down on North Rexford Drive, where luxurious mansions line the streets of Beverly Hills. Jennifer watched her husband Michael Miller drive off to work in his beloved Lexus RX, then returned to the kitchen. She carefully packed Tommy's lunchbox with organic vegetables and bread from Trader Joe's, celery and carrot sticks, a turkey sandwich on whole wheat bread, and fresh blueberries, all ingredients chosen with her growing child's health in mind. Mom, I love today's sandwich. Tommy burst into the kitchen wearing his bright red Spider-Man t-shirt, his face beaming with joy. Jennifer gently stroked his head as she lovingly placed the sandwich in his lunchbox. What are you learning today? Math. And we're going to read English books too. The teacher said I'm really good at reading. Tommy puffed out his chest proudly. Though only in first grade, he was already reading at a second grade level. While his education-minded parents had influenced this, it was primarily due to his naturally curious personality. This peaceful morning scene was typical for the Miller family. Jennifer earned $80,000 annually as a luxury real estate agent, while Michael brought in $120,000 as a department head at a major construction company. Though not wealthy by Beverly Hills standards, they were a family bound by genuine love. Meanwhile, Jennifer's mother Patricia Henderson was a well-known figure in Beverly Hills charitable circles. As the director of the Children First Foundation, she raised over $1 million annually to support local children, at least, that's how it appeared on the surface. The Beverly Hills Courier had dubbed her the Queen of Charity, and she had even received recognition from the state governor. Donors trusted her implicitly, and her word alone could bring in substantial donations. Her sister Ashley Thompson also garnered attention, albeit differently. As a parenting influencer with 500,000 followers, she received constant advertising requests from famous brands like Pottery Barn Kids and The Honest Company. She cultivated a perfect mother image while doing high-paying product reviews. Her Instagram and TikTok posts regularly received tens of thousands of likes, and her advertising revenue alone exceeded $300,000 annually. With my parenting methods, children never get lost, Ashley would proclaim. Jennifer watched her sister's pronouncements with mixed feelings. Those sisters, their values differed greatly. As Tommy's 7th birthday approached, he made a request at the breakfast table. Mom, I want to go to Disneyland. I want to meet Spider-Man. Jennifer's expression grew complicated. She had an important meeting scheduled at Coldwell Banker Real Estate that day, a $25 million property deal representing 40% of her annual sales, when she couldn't refuse. We'll take him, Patricia offered, and Ashley nodded in agreement with a smile. However, Jennifer failed to notice the shadow lurking behind their smiles, missing something in their eyes. It's your mother and Ashley, they'll be fine. This deal could make or break your year, right? Michael's words convinced Jennifer to reluctantly agree, though she couldn't shake an uneasy feeling. Her mother was certainly a respected philanthropist, and her sister considered herself a parenting professional. Still, something felt off. Be careful, okay? Call me right away if anything happens. Tommy, make sure you listen to Grandma. Jennifer repeatedly cautioned them as she saw Tommy off at the front door. Her son, wearing his Spider-Man backpack, was bouncing with excitement. Her mother and Ashley's smiles. Everything seemed perfect that morning. In the quiet of the upscale neighborhood, their brand new Mercedes-Benz drove away. The June sky was exceptionally clear. Tommy looked so happy. Jennifer thought to herself as she looked at the photo on her smartphone. Taken at 9 a.m. at the Disneyland entrance, it showed her son in his Spider-Man t-shirt, arms spread wide with joy. Patricia and Ashley were also in the picture, wearing perfect smiles. Don't worry, Jenny. We'll take good care of him, read her mother's message. Jennifer sent a brief reply. After all, her mother was the director of the Children First Foundation, dedicating her life to supporting children. Surely she would take perfect care of Tommy. At the Coldwell Banker office, Jennifer immersed herself in preparing for the $25 million deal. As she reviewed the luxury property documents, she occasionally checked her phone. Photos arrived at 10 a.m. in front of the Ferris wheel, and at 11 a.m. from Adventureland. In every picture, Tommy was beaming. Everything's ready, she thought. As the important client meeting approached in the early afternoon, she finished her final document review and touched up her makeup, checking her phone once more. However, no photos had arrived since noon. They must be having too much fun to take pictures, she tried to convince herself. Just then, her phone rang. An unknown number. She normally wouldn't answer, but concerned about her son, she picked up. Mrs. Miller? This is John Martin from Disneyland Guest Services. Your son is currently at our Lost Children Center. Jennifer felt the blood drain from her face. What? Tommy? But my mother and sister are with him. Your son was found alone near Adventureland about 30 minutes ago by our staff. He's currently being cared for at the Lost Children's Center. With trembling hands gripping her phone, Jennifer caught her breath. Can I speak with Tommy? Of course. Through the receiver came her son's voice, choked with sobs. Jennifer's heart clenched. Tommy, are you okay? What happened? Grandma and Aunt Ashley, they left me, they went away. Her son's trembling voice froze Jennifer's entire body. What do you mean? How long have you been there? After lunch. Grandma said wait here for a moment, but they never came back. His Spider-Man t-shirt was dirty, and his face was streaked with tears. The staff's photo showed it all too clearly. Are you hungry? Did you eat anything? Yes, but I'm hungry again. I was scared, Mom. Those words snapped something inside Jennifer. She called her mother's phone. It rang several times before being answered, with the sound of lively music in the background. It sounded like a shopping mall. Oh, Jenny? What is it? Patricia's voice was surprisingly bright and casual. Mom, where's Tommy? Tommy. Isn't he still at Disneyland? Still? What do you mean? Oh my, really? I hadn't noticed. Her voice had an oddly detached quality. In the background, Ashley's voice could be heard. Well, my children never get lost. Those words turned Jennifer's vision red. Mom, Tommy is at the Lost Children's Center right now. Because you abandoned him. Abandoned? Surely not. We didn't mean to. I got a call from security. They have it all on surveillance cameras. A moment of silence. Jenny, are you doubting me? I'm the director of the Children First Foundation. I would never abandon a child. She hung up and immediately called Michael. I'll go to Disneyland right away. You have that important meeting, right? I'll handle this. Michael's voice tried to maintain composure, but the anger underneath was palpable. She could tell he was desperately controlling his emotions with the self-discipline he developed as a construction company department head. She contacted the Disneyland staff again. They explained the details. Tommy showed signs of mild dehydration and psychological shock, but fortunately had no serious injuries or health issues. The surveillance footage clearly showed Patricia and Ashley intentionally abandoning Tommy. Mrs. Miller, let me explain your son's situation in detail, the veteran staff member said calmly. Around 2:15 p.m., your son was having lunch with his grandmother and aunt near the restaurant in Adventureland. Afterward, they told him, "We'll be right back," and left, never returning. As she listened to the explanation, Jennifer gripped her designer bag on the desk tightly. The sleeve of her theory suit trembled slightly. Our surveillance cameras recorded the two of them heading toward the park exit. They showed no signs of hurry. In fact, they were chatting as they walked. Those words nearly made Jennifer's anger explode, but she had to contain it. She had a $25 million deal ahead of her. She couldn't let emotions take over. Tommy, Dad will be there to pick you up soon. Everything's going to be all right now. While encouraging her son over the phone, Jennifer heaved a deep sigh. She intuitively knew that from this day forward, something would change dramatically. The morning scenes in their upscale neighborhood would never be the same again. Looking at her meeting materials, Jennifer made an internal vow. She would make them pay. Her mother and sister would face consequences for their cruel act. While her son's emotional care was the top priority now, this incident could not go unaddressed. Michael Miller was running at full speed toward Disneyland's Lost Children's Center. His position as department head at Constructive Futures and his expensive suit meant nothing now. His mind was focused solely on his son. "Daddy." Tommy's voice echoed in the hallway. Michael embraced the small body that burst out of the Lost Children's Center with his entire being. The Spider-Man t-shirt was dirty, and his eyes were red from crying. Still, relief spread across Tommy's face at the sight of his father. "Everything's okay, now. Daddy's here." While holding his son, Michael bowed deeply to the attending staff. John Martin, the veteran staff member, explained the details of what they found in the surveillance footage. At 2:15 p.m., after having lunch at the restaurant in Adventureland, Mrs. Patricia and Mrs. Ashley told your son to await here, and left the area. The footage played on a large screen. At the restaurant terrace, Patricia had her hand on Tommy's shoulder. Ashley appeared to be filming something with her smartphone. At 2:30 p.m., they passed through Main Street. By this point, they were already heading toward the park exit. The footage was crystal clear. Patricia and Ashley were walking while having what appeared to be a pleasant conversation, as if Tommy wasn't even on their minds. At 2:45 p.m., our exit security cameras captured them heading to the parking lot. During this entire time, they showed no signs of looking for your son. Michael's face hardened. His wife's mother and sister-in-law had intentionally abandoned his son. This fact was clearly proven by the surveillance footage. "Daddy, did I do something wrong?" Tommy's trembling voice squeezed Michael's heart. His young son had been wondering if he was somehow at fault. "No, Tommy. You didn't do anything wrong. Grandma and Aunt Ashley made a terrible mistake." Just then, Michael's smartphone rang. The screen displayed William Henderson Sr., Tommy's great-grandfather, Patricia's father. The 86-year-old real estate mogul seemed to have already grasped the situation. "Come to my house immediately. We need to talk." Upon arriving at the Beverly Hills mansion, a butler quietly led them to the reception room. William Henderson Sr. sat in a heavy leather chair. Next to him was Howard Henderson, senior partner at the prestigious law firm Henderson and Partners, Patricia's husband and Tommy's grandfather. "My daughter, to think she would abandon her own grandson." William's voice mixed anger and sorrow. The real estate mogul, with total assets exceeding $100 million, was known for valuing family bonds above all else. "This is a serious matter that affects our family's honor." Speaking in a grave voice, William had already begun taking action. First, contacting lawyers. Instructions for changing his will. Requests for evidence collection. Everything was proceeding rapidly. Meanwhile, Howard, taking the situation seriously, had contacted his wife Patricia. However, her response was colder than expected. "You doubt me too? Children First Foundation has many supporters. If this becomes public, the donors will leave." On the other end of the line, Patricia was only thinking about her own position. She said several charitable organizations had already made inquiries. There were concerns about the impact on her reputation. And Sister Ashley was making things even worse. A long explanation posted on Instagram. "I wanted to create the best memories for my beloved nephew. But he wouldn't listen to our instructions and wandered off on his own." Followers were questioning this account that contradicted the facts. Ashley, unaware of the surveillance cameras, was trying to create a narrative that suited her. "We're having a family meeting," William announced. With his word, emergency contacts went out to all family members. Today's events weren't just about child abandonment. They questioned the nature of family, trust, and above all, human morality. Michael silently watched his son. Tommy had fallen asleep on the reception room sofa, exhausted. His Spider-Man t-shirt was still dirty. "They will pay for this," Michael vowed internally. He and Jennifer had already determined their course of action. Considering legal measures. More importantly, their son's emotional care. Everything needed to be prioritized and planned systematically. William stood by the window, looking down at the Beverly Hills twilight. His expression showed the severity of the family drama about to unfold. A heavy atmosphere filled the living room of the Henderson mansion. One of Beverly Hills' most impressive residences, owned by William Henderson Sr. Italian marble floors, French antique furniture, Spanish chandeliers. All of it emphasized the solemnity of tonight's family meeting. Family members gathered one by one. Jennifer arrived first, having finished her important meeting. Her suit was impeccable, but her expression showed fatigue. Michael had put the sleeping Tommy to bed in the adjacent guest room, quietly closing the door. Then Patricia and Ashley appeared. Surprisingly, they showed no signs of regret. Rather, they seemed to act as if they were the victims. We will now view the surveillance footage. William's butler turned on the 80 inches display. First footage, Adventureland Restaurant, 2:15 p.m. Patricia adjusting her new Hermes bag while speaking to Tommy. Wait here. We'll be right back. Next footage, 2:20 p.m. Ashley filming something with her smartphone. 2:30 p.m. Main Street footage. Patricia and Ashley chatting while eating ice cream. Acting as if Tommy wasn't even on their minds. 2:45 p.m. Park exit footage. The two heading to the parking lot with luxury brand shopping bags. Then records of them driving the Mercedes-Benz to a Beverly Hills shopping mall. When the footage ended, the room fell into complete silence. William's voice resonated heavily. Patricia, why did you commit such a cruel act? Father, I have my reasons. Silence. His voice was cold and sharp. You intentionally abandoned my grandson, my beloved great-grandson. This fact is now undeniable. Howard Henderson gradually moved his chair away from his wife Patricia. As senior partner at Henderson and Partners, he fully understood the legal weight of the footage. This is a form of child abuse. Howard's words froze the room's atmosphere. Even you blame me? Patricia's voice rose shrilly. I'm the director of the Children First Foundation. I've dedicated my life to helping children. That's precisely why, William interrupted. Your actions are not just cruel, they're a complete betrayal. To abandon your own grandson while in a position to support children. The elderly man closed his eyes heavily and delivered his next words. As of today, you and Ashley are removed from the inheritance. What? Ashley spoke up for the first time. Grandpa, I've already consulted with the lawyers. All my assets will be transferred to Jennifer and Tommy. And some will be donated to a new child protection organization. Patricia's face turned ashen. Father, but our livelihood. Your livelihood? William's voice grew colder. You lost the right to worry about such things when you abandoned a 6-year-old child. Just then, Patricia's smartphone began ringing. An emergency contact from the Children First Foundation's board. They had already grasped the situation and decided to hold an emergency meeting. Ashley's smartphone was constantly chiming with notifications. Critical comments were flooding her Instagram post attempting to explain her actions. Moreover, an email arrived announcing contract termination from one of her major sponsors. Patricia. Now her husband Howard spoke up. I have something to say as well. His expression showed unprecedented severity. I'll contact a divorce lawyer tomorrow. Howard. So this was your true nature. In 30 years of marriage, I've never been so disappointed. Though maintaining his dignity as senior partner at Henderson and Partners, his voice was filled with sadness. Meanwhile, the media had begun moving quickly. A reporter from the Beverly Hills Courier requested an interview with Patricia. Investigation of the Children First Foundation had also begun. This act goes against our organization's principles and we are taking this very seriously. An official comment from the board had already begun circulating in the media. And Ashley's social media empire was showing rapid signs of collapse. A self-proclaimed parenting expert abandoning a child? Hypocrite. Sponsor companies should reconsider their contracts with this influencer. Critical comments snowballed. Led by Pottery Barn Kids, major sponsors announced contract terminations one after another. Her 500,000 followers dropped to 300,000 within 24 hours. This is just the beginning, Williams said. No one could argue with his words. Night crept into the mansion's living room. The chandelier light illuminated Patricia and Ashley's pale faces. No one stood by them. The former queen of high society and popular influencer found themselves completely isolated. In the adjacent room, Tommy was sleeping peacefully. Jennifer had changed him into a fresh Spider-Man t-shirt. His small body seemed to have finally found peaceful rest. The family meeting continued late into the night. Throughout, Patricia and Ashley's phones kept chiming with notifications. Public criticism, contract termination notices from sponsors, interview requests from media. The collapse showed no signs of stopping. 1 year later, the aroma of coffee wafted through the kitchen of their new Beverly Hills home. "Mom, make a sandwich for Dad too." Tommy's voice rang out cheerfully. In his Spider-Man pajamas, he peered at Jennifer's hands from across the kitchen island. "Of course. I'll make sure to make one for Dad too." She layered fresh vegetables and turkey between slices of organic bread from Trader Joe's. The morning scenes of the past were gradually returning. 1 year since the incident. During that time, the family had changed significantly. First, Jennifer established her own real estate agency. Miller Family Real Estate had already earned a solid reputation in Beverly Hills. Great-grandfather William's trust and support had been a tremendous help. Michael was promoted to vice president at Constructive Futures. His determination to protect his family and sincere dedication to work had earned him this advancement. Most notably, Tommy had changed. Through twice-weekly counseling, his trauma gradually healed. The bright smile of the Spider-Man-loving boy had returned. "Mom, I'm okay, now." When Tommy suddenly said this one day, Jennifer couldn't help but cry. Meanwhile, Patricia and Ashley's downfall had been more dramatic than anyone expected. The Children First Foundation decided to dismiss Patricia. Major donors unanimously withdrew their support. "We cannot accept someone who committed such an inhumane act of abandoning a child leading a children's support organization," the donors' verdict was harsh. Ashley's social media followers dropped by over 90% in just 2 weeks. Her brand as a parenting influencer completely collapsed. All contracts with sponsor companies were terminated. Her glamorous life with an annual income of $300,000 vanished in an instant. The two now reportedly lived in a small apartment in San Fernando Valley. A modest life far removed from luxury. Patricia, who developed depression, rarely went out. Ashley, unable to find new work, spent most of her days as a shut-in. They brought this on themselves. Howard's words seemed cold but rang true. After the divorce, he maintained his position as senior partner at the law firm and began a new life. Every weekend, family dinners were held at Williams' mansion. The 86-year-old real estate mogul cherished his time with his great-grandson Tommy above all else. "It was the wisest decision of my life," Williams said about changing his inheritance. The majority of his assets exceeding $100 million would be entrusted to Jennifer and Tommy. Part of it was used to establish a new child protection foundation. The New Dawn Foundation. The name embodied the family's determination to greet a new morning. Drawing from the abandonment incident experience, it focused on providing emotional care for children. Jennifer served as one of the directors, involved in its operations. "I've learned the difference between genuine love and false love," Jennifer said in an interview. The foundation would fight against the cruelty lurking behind superficial kindness, against adults who hurt children for the sake of social status and appearances. The Beverly Hills morning sunlight remained as bright as ever. "Dad's home." When Michael stopped by before heading to work, Tommy ran to him joyfully. His new Spider-Man t-shirt gleamed in the morning light. "We're going to Grandpa's house tonight, right?" The family of 3 nodded with smiles at Tommy's question. Their relationship with Howard had actually deepened after the incident. His love for his grandson had become more genuine than ever. The scent of homemade sandwiches filled the kitchen. On the living room wall hung a frame with the New Dawn Foundation's principles. "Protecting those we love sometimes requires painful choices. But those choices bring forth a new morning." These words quietly told the story of their journey over the past year. Outside the window, the California sun was rising. It marked both an ending and a beginning. It was light announcing the dawn of a new story, guided by genuine love.